Good evening and welcome to Options Center. It's Thursday. Welcome everybody. 9:21. Yeah, 9:21:23. Thanks for joining us here. If you are new, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo and subscribe. We have great information on this channel. If you're a trader or just interested in the market or a long-term holder, an investor, a position trader, doesn't matter. We go through all different time frames here, and we like to let you know what we think is happening with the market. Yes, we're a bear. If you haven't noticed already, I know there's some new people here, so I am bearish on the market. What we're looking at is a long-term. Actually, let me break out the maximum here for SPX. We're going to go through SPX on the multiple time frames. We're going to start off with the monthly, go down to the 65. We're going to finish off with SPY, just so we can translate. Everybody trades off SPY, so I want to use SPY to translate what we think is going to happen, or the different scenarios that's going to happen in the near term. Okay, so we have SPX all the way back to the 1929 crash. We had a top here, and we had a top recently. Now, remember, this is on the monthly time frame. We had a retracement, a bounce back up. I believe this is a 3-wave move. And so at minimum, I think we have a 5-wave impulse move to the downside. And that's just minimum. This could be a 1-2, and we have a 3, 4, 5 to start the correction. That's a big bear analysis, but I think we're just getting started with the second wave here, meaning wave B or 2, going into 3 or C. Okay, we'll look at that on the daily time frame so you can get a better point of view of what I'm kind of tracing out. Now, we have some targets that are available as well, so stick around and check out the targets later on. We'll get you familiar with what we're looking at and why we're holding on to most of our puts. We took a little bit of profit so we could put that into our account today, our separate account, but we want to make sure that we're still holding short. This is a lifetime opportunity for traders. Let me put it that way. When you get into, especially to the downside, the upside, we've had some major moves, and yes, you've had people get rich off of this. But when you have a downside, wave 3 or C, man, this thing's going to be relentless. Sell the rip. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, on the monthly time frame, we're breaking down underneath so far. Underneath this doji candle, we had a tweezer top here. We're breaking down underneath, but we're right into the 8 EMA. So we need to get under that 8 EMA in order for this to be a trending market. We are not in a downtrend on the monthly time frame, but let's look over to the weekly. So we're getting there on the monthly time frame. We're getting there. You got to start from somewhere. Okay, we keep showing this possible channel here. We had the 2018 rising pivot, rejected off of it, back tested, and rejecting off it again. We had this initial move down. We're back testing. We're forming a channel now. And if this channel plays out to where this is our minimum correction here, where this is just an ABC, and where C ends is a equal from A for the top of B, where C equals A. Does that make sense? This measured move here from the top of this move to the bottom of this move, I consider A. You have a B correction, and then C equals A. Okay, so that brings us right down to the bottom of the channel, overthrow a little bit, but brings us right into this 3,300 area. So that's our minimum correction that we're looking for, and this should be impulsive. We have now the beginning of a 1-2 where we actually made a new low here. I don't know if we're going to close necessarily under there. We should, but at this point we have a 1-2 and we're continuing on with wave 3. You see how relentless some of these moves can be, especially the wave 3 of this move. You have 1, 2, and wave 3. That's the 3 of 3 there. We have a stronger wave that I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get lower than this channel here, but you know, this is the conservative play, and we're going to play this pretty deep. We broke underneath the 20-week simple moving average. So we're getting really bearish here. I don't think that we're going to get really any real support until this 4,100. You have the area of 42 to about 41. So you have a 100-point area. I know on the weekly time frame, that's nothing. But we have to look at this and say, where can we bounce? Well, the 100 simple moving average for the weekly time frame starts at 4,200. Yeah, we'll probably get a reaction, but I think the real support here is around the 4,100, and I've shown that. I'll show this again on different time frames. When we get to the daily, I'll show you a couple of indicators on why I think so. And so far, the 50-week moving average is around that area, so we could spike through and have some sort of reaction. But I do think we have our initial one wave here, and now we're getting in an impulsive three wave into that target area of 4,100. Should have a nice bounce and then continue lower, probably to test out this 100. It'll be a little bit higher at the time, but probably that 100. Okay, let's move over to the daily, and we can check out some different things on the daily time frame. On this daily, trend is our friend. You see this nice support here? We're not even touching that yet. So I thought, hey, we're going to hold our near-term puts right until the end. We're still a Mariposa candle. We have no sign of reversal. We're not hitting support yet. We broke down from a triangle pattern, a consolidation pattern that didn't break up but broke down. So there's all kinds of signs of bearishness. Yesterday's video, I talked about this is going to start gapping. We gapped underneath the 100 moving average. We had almost a 1% gap to the downside. This is where it gets gappy, okay? Let's, okay. On this traditional technical analysis, we have support here. So we're looking to take some profit into the 4,300 area. It's a round number. We'll probably get a little bit of a bounce tomorrow. Tomorrow shouldn't be a devastating type day. We should get some sort of bounce. Maybe we gap into it and fill the gap and get a little bit higher for wave 4. Not too deep. We come down further. 4-5, 4-5. We're looking for some 4-5s, 4-5s. But our wave 3 target, we're really looking to get to retest the ascending triangle that we had broken out from. This was the ascending triangle. You see that? If you made this into this here, this is what we had at the time being. This was our ascending triangle of the turquoise. Okay? Broke out from it, retested, broke out. And what we need to do as a market, whether bullish or bearish, is we're looking to retest it. And so that's why I have this green area here. This green area also coincides with what we talked about in the past. What we talked about in the past was these consolidation areas. We talked about this so many times. This is a gap. This is a gap area of volume. There's not much happening. You get past this, and we go pretty hard down to probably one day or maybe two down into this consolidation area. That's where we've been playing. We talked about this in many of videos. That's where our targets are before a significant bounce and then lower after that. Okay, so why? Let's see here. Let's go to the Elliott wave. The Elliott wave we have counted as 1, 2. And then we have a measurement for this 1, 2. So the top of 1 somewhere around here. It's not precise. Approximately to the bottom of wave 1, and then approximately to where wave 2 ended off. That gives our measured move down here to about 4,100. Okay, and let me, since the number count is in white, let me put this in white as well. So we have our 1, 2, and we're looking for a 5-wave impulse move down to wave 3. That's why I'm so confident in this move. If this count is correct, this should be pretty relentless all the way down to wave 3, where then we get a bounce. And ignore this zigzag. It's not going to necessarily, it's probably going to be a flat pattern or a triangle. So we're gonna come down to somewhere around here, which makes total sense, which is right in this real volume type area. A lot of trading was there, and not just here, but in the past. Okay, so we have this 162 extension where wave 3 typically happens. We'll come all the way down here with hardly any bounces. You have this 1, 2 on a minor scale, and this 3 should come down possibly into the 200, have a wave 4 that's a little bit more significant, and finish down to wave 5 of 3, where we should have a more significant bounce. And this is where it gets a little bit more messy, but we should have a continuation down to wave 1. I don't know where that wave 1's going to be. We'll start speculating on that extension for wave 5 into the larger degree wave 1 after we get to our wave 3. A little bit lower, but you see how we gap down? We could possibly gap down again. We're probably gonna have a little bit of a bounce, maybe, you know, a little day type up, maybe a green candle, gap down, green candle, fill the gap. At most 2 candles, green candles, at most. But we shouldn't see too much of a bounce in between here until we get to this minor degree wave 1, 2. We'll show that on the SPY. It'll be a little bit more clear on the SPY for lower degrees. Okay. Is there anything I want to show? In general, your oscillators, your indicators are virtually worthless in a move like this, just like it was in a move like this. Okay, you had negative divergence this whole way up, over and over, negative divergence over and over. So you got to look on the higher time frames where you got weekly divergence, and then you had your move down. So on this one, on the 65, you're gonna play it out on those positive divergences. We see this. We have a new low here. We made this new low. The bulls are gonna come into this 4,300 area on the SPX, and they're gonna say, okay, this is our wave 4. We had an A, B, C. Our wave 4 is done, and we go higher. So yeah, we have to take that in consideration. You can't get too cocky. You'll get wiped out in trading. But that won't make too much sense for a 3-wave move down. You need a 5-wave impulsive move down for wave C down here. 535 for a zigzag, perhaps. Anyway, there's other opportunities. You always have to keep considering bull scenarios. So the bulls are going to have a reaction around the 4,300 area, which is the former 62%. So this is a good area to take some profit and then sell into the bounce. The bounce shouldn't be that deep, but sell into it because we're going further down. All right, our target's way down here at the 4,100. We have 200 plus points to go. Do you think we're just going to stop and stop and stop and stop? No, we're going to get down to this. This is a wave 3. It's the most impulsive wave that you have. Okay. All right. Enough hampering on that. We're not going to look at too many indicators. They're not going to tell us much more. So let's look at it from the ES point of view on the daily time frame. And then we'll look at SPY, and we'll go down to the SPY 65. We don't really need to look at the SPX 65. Doesn't really tell us anything more. Okay. All right, this is a lot of things. This is what I was talking about, these consolidation areas, and it just so happens all this volume, all this trading volume reverses, support, reverse, support, blah, 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 over and over, coincides with our point of control. Well, that's no coincidence. So that's where our target is. That's where a big target is. We have our 1, 2 possibly, and our rising wedge. We had our rising wedge, and we're breaking down impulsively, and that's where our target is before we get a significant bounce. And then we should break down below that as well. But our wave 4 are significant. We talked about this a long time ago. Okay, you have a wave 1, impulsive move, wave 2, and this wave 3 should bring us down near or into this area. And our wave 4 is probably a good chance that our wave 4 is going to oscillate, bouncing around into this area, because this is the 4100. It's a little bit different on ES. So it might be a little higher. So maybe we get our bounce here, but we come into this area. We're probably going to get a little bit of price action into this area, consolidation, just like in the past, and then some sort of bounce and break lower. Okay, so ES. Now let's go to SPY. Just to give you different points of view, that's why we use the SPY, we use SPX, we use ES, we trade futures as well. So we trade micros. And when I say we, I mean me. I'm in a community of traders and stuff like that. So I speak for, I think I could speak for some of us. But we have a lower high so far, not confirmed for this. Underneath, we don't have any sort of reversal candle. We're getting underneath the lows here. This is bearish, bear territory all the way, right? So you see the rising pivot here. I think that's where we really want to start testing. I know that there's a pivot above it, but this is the daily time frame. We're getting a lower high, lower low. That's really what I want to tell you. Now let's move over to the 65. On the 65, okay. And by the way, if any of this information helps you out, if you get some winning trades, anything like that, please consider liking the video. That's the most important part, is liking the video. Please like the video. If you want to go further than that, then go down to the description. There's links that you can help out even more. Okay, we have a head and shoulder pattern breaking down. We broke down at towards the end of the day. We're really just paused most of the day, and we're breaking down now. So we have some support here at the 430 area on SPY. So that's going to give us a little bit of bounce. It's probably going to back test this rising pivot. Okay, I drew that pivot there for a reason. Broke down from it. Get to support. You have the uptrend line as well. So even if you spike through, you back test, and that's just bringing us into a former wave 4. So let's we're looking at getting some sort of bounce around here, back testing, and continuing lower. Again, our target is around the 4100, and this 4100 for SPX. But for SPY, it's around the around the 412. So it's this bow and arrow. It's this point of control. Ultimately, yes, we're going to get a bounce here as well. We're going to get some sort of reaction around the 418, but this is our consolidation area. Okay, we get down to the middle, which plays as support as well, which we have a gap as well. The point of control volume node. So we'll get a bounce off there. and then we'll continue lower. We might have a significant bounce at this point because we're going to be so oversold at that point. All right, I hope this is all clear. Let's go to, we're breaking down, by the way, this is super bearish. Remember when we were in the triangle and we couldn't get past the expected moves? Well, now we're breaking the expected moves pretty harsh. So we're probably going to get 2 or 3 standard deviation moves at that point. Let's go to the L8 wave. And here's intraday what I was looking at. Intraday, I said, okay, we have our move. If we're correct, we have a 1 in white, 2 in the white. Now we have a 1 in yellow, 2 in yellow. And if this is another 1, 2 in the turquoise, I know it's hard to see there, in the turquoise, then wave 3 is expected at least to 430, at least, minimum. Okay, we're almost there. We're probably getting to that point tomorrow. Maybe start retracing. I don't know if we'll make it past this 382. That's a reaction area where the bulls step in, saying this is the end of wave 4, where this is an ABC. So this is a huge area. We're going to take profit into this area tomorrow. We also have the former 62% retracement. There's a lot going on here. I don't think this wave 3 is going to make it to 427. If it does, it's a lot more bearish than I think. But I do think this wave 3 is going to be somewhere around this area. We're going to get a bounce out of it. All right. So we're just still in these minor stages here. 1, 2, 3. Get a bounce, 4 and 5 somewhere. I'm not sure how it's probably going to be equal to wave 1. So it's going to take us down lower. But the most important thing is that we take profit around here, protect yourself, and then as you get a bounce, we'll get a retracement. We'll do that in tomorrow's video or the next day whenever we see price bouncing. We'll get that retracement. And if you follow us in the Discord, I'll put those out there as well when I start selling again. We'll sell the bounce, which is probably going to go right back in, just like the traditional technical analysis. This is a former wave 4. Price is going to come back to this wave 4. We'll sell into it, and we'll get our 5. All right, this 5, I don't know how long it's going to be. Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Might come right into this consolidation area here. We get our 5, which is the yellow wave 3, a larger degree. And then we'll need another bounce, which can be a little bit more. Maybe it back tests that whole 38.2, this whole consolidation area. We don't know yet. We're going to have to figure all this out. That's where it gets messy. All right, we're in the trend now. Follow the trend. This is the most important part. This is where it gets messy. And then, but our ultimate, we know that if you give yourself enough time in your options or if you're trading stock, this is our ultimate move. This is our 1, 2, wave 3 projection down here, right into all this volume here. It could go a little bit lower if we wanted to, into the 50%. This is our ultimate target. We're going to have a playable bounce, a playable wave 4 in the white, wave 4. I don't know how far it's going to go back. We'll do all that later. This will be playable, and then we look further down to probably the 62% retracement. That's where you'll usually get a spike where the bulls say, hey, we're jumping in here because this is a new bull market. Okay, so that may be, we get the 62%, and then we're looking at a new bull market for the bulls, but really all we're completing is a wave 1, a minor degree wave 1, and then we'll get an intermediate wave 1, and then we'll get a nice big pullback for wave 2, and then we short it again. We'll look at the downtrends. All this is speculation after this, but just know that tomorrow, probably not a trend day to the downside. But next week and the week after, within 2 weeks, I think we get down to 411. Okay, that's necessary because it's a 1, 2, 3. That's not the low point. It's not our low, but that's the most impulsive part of this wave. So you gotta take the money where you can, and then you don't play the messy parts. You use futures or just use your cash account and stuff like that. So this one you hold, you roll. Okay, unless you're a position trader, then